Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I'm going to give you 4 words, and I want you to think about them in terms of yourself and your life and where you're going. Focus, direction, communication, success. And if any of those words resonate with you, and I think they do, at least one of them, or should, I'm going to introduce you to somebody today that can help you take those 4 concepts and move your life forward through the power of language, through the power of holistics, and so much more. And so great to have her. We're going to learn a lot about this today. Iveta Kuzela is with us. Iveta, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hello. Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. I'm great. How are you, Stu?
I'm very well. What's the name of your company?
The name of the company is called Dynamics of Conversation. And we focus on helping leaders create their next level of success.
I'm going to get into that. I'm intrigued about the word language connected to success and how you work with that. Before we do anything, though, I want to tell everybody in a few minutes, we're going to talk about an app that you can download that can really change your life. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And let's go back to the dynamics of language. When you say that, how do you mean it?
Okay, so I am actually a bilingual person. I'm originally from Czech Republic, and I learned English as a second language through listening people and listening their body language and seeing how they interact and how they use their language. And that kind of gave me a great advantage to realize how important our words are and how influential they can be when it comes to, changing our thoughts into reality, manifesting and organizing what it is that we want for ourselves. And there's that significant power that words can either move the mountains or cut throats, right? And there's that advantage that I like to use by following our conversation as a personal guide to get us to the root cause of what's stopping us from moving forward, creating a better version of ourselves, or reaching the next level of success.
Do you work with people about their language, changing the way they maybe present things, the words they use? Is that part of it?
It is part of it. It's more in a way that we use the conversation as a guide. So let me give you an example so that we know
Sure.
what we're talking about. When you say, I can't, right? I cannot. That phrase is used throughout the day many, many times, right? We express many different things with I can't. But if you think about it, what you're really saying is that you already decided on the outcome of that situation before it even happened. And I like to use the words that we say on daily basis, and that will help us to kind of guide, like, okay, this is what I say, this is the outcome, and this is what I'm creating for myself. And so by following the conversation, you can really see, oh, this is what I say. And then let's look at the reasons why I say it. What is it that I want to actually express? What is it that what is it that it's stopping me from saying, yes, I do want to, do this, or I choose to do this and that, or create this and this in my life, instead of I can't. It's the outcome that matters. And it's the way how we get there.
Yeah, I think one of the basics one is I have to go to work today. No, I get to go to work today.
Right? Absolutely.
How about the I can't one? Can we take that and reframe it? Like, for example, I can't get all this done today. I just can't get all this done today. How would you reframe that to not already decide on the outcome?
I choose to do this. I choose to be more creative. I choose to wait in the office and finish the work, or I choose to go to work because it brings me this and this, or I bring towards something. So there's so many different ways that you can go around it and change the I can that brings limitation, fears, and already the outcome of that cannot be done into I am choosing something different for myself.
Yeah, I was just thinking too, along with that, instead of saying, I can't get this all done today, to I'm looking forward to getting as much as I can done today.
Yes.
All right, let's be obvious. Like, probably not going to get to all this work today, but
right?
you're looking forward to getting, making a nice dent in all of it.
Right. Yes. And if you think about it, it also brings a different energy towards it, right?
Yes.
So when you say I can't, it's kind of like, oh, like you have that limitation there. And when
Yes.
you say I choose to, or I'm going to finish this and that, you're already agreeing that this is what you want to do. That's how far you want to get. And you feel better about yourself. You feel better going into the task or whatever it is that you want to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And when you say it's with a holistic approach, how do you attach that to it in terms of how you work with people?
Okay. So the holistic approach comes, and let's back up a little bit with the leadership, because for everybody, next level of success means something else, right? Some leaders are looking into getting better projects, leading more people, having a corner office, having better status, and for others, it's more us. Learning how to be more open to people, having better people skills, and having more impactful and influential communications. So really the success means many things to different people. And so when it comes to the holistic approach, we try to get to the root cause, right? We're not putting a band-aid on it. We're actually trying to figure out what it is that it's stopping leaders to reach their next level. What is it that's holding them back or preventing them from, taking the next step? And holistically, there's many different things that we can do. It could be just learning how to turn off and not be constantly on electronics and devices, and or it could be more how you learn to kind of like ground yourself and really be present in a present moment, not worrying what happened in the past or what, how I'm going to figure out the future, but being here now, really taking everything that is around us.
Yep.
So there's many different ways to go around this, but it's really unique. And that's why I love coaching it, because it can be very, tailored and focused directly on that. What is that you need or the leader needs?
That was in my journey. And I realized this just 2 years ago, a little bit more than 2 years ago. Somebody said to me, and I've shared this before, but I think it's so impactful, and says, it's basically what you said, exactly what you said. Somebody said to me, how come you don't live in the moment? How come you don't live like now? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? And then I thought about it, and yeah, I think about the past. I was thinking about the future. And when you think of those, there's challenges. You think about the future, invariably there's some anxiety because you're anticipating it. What's going to happen? It didn't even get here yet. Why are you wasting your time?
Exactly.
And looking at the past, there could be some negativity, some depression, like, oh, look what happened there, instead of saying, I learned from that. But if you're here in the now, truly now, you're now, you're present. There's nothing else to worry about. What's the next in the next 5 seconds? What are we going to worry about? I don't know. Nothing. There's no
Right?
worries.
Absolutely.
There's no worries
Yes.
whatsoever. I'm trying to think of something, to be honest, in 10 seconds from right now. I'm trying to think of something, because it's the future, what I would be worried about, what we would be worried. I don't know. Nothing. I got
Or
nothing.
everything.
It's all
See,
good.
the thing is, like you said, being in that present moment, what I found is that when we become more aware of what's going on in us and around us in that present moment, we find those clues and the answers that we are searching for. And it's the great realization when you see your client seeing Iveta. It was right in front of my eyes and I couldn't see it. I love this phrase, because that tells me that the person is in that present moment, that the person become aware and realize, this is what I've been looking for, and this is going to help me to move on and take the next step that I need.
Do you think I've had it? It's because we block all the stuff out, the past, the future. We get rid of that so that we can get that clarity and really focus on what's here, what's now, and then get clues to things that we overlooked.
Yes. It's the digital world, it's the electronic, it's the notification, the constant notification that just keeps popping everywhere, right? I mean, from emails to Snapchats and all the social media, even the advertising. It's also the language that is used, like who do you talk to or who do you listen to on daily basis? What kind of information are you constantly, channeling and getting in? Is it negative and focusing on what's wrong all the time? Or is it encouraging and motivating, and is it helping you to be a better person and drive, get a drive and motivation to, do something, right? It's the messages, it's the notification that constantly are
Sure.
bombarding us left and right. Like we have to create boundaries when it comes to devices, right? Like, am I going to hold my phone constantly with me, on me, or when I'm doing a project or a report and I know I have a deadline, I need to put that phone away so that I don't get distracted. And because it's super easy, right? You grab the phone, you want to look for something, and suddenly a notification pops up. Well, what do? You click on the notification. 20 minutes later, you're on Instagram or any kind of, favorite social platform, and you forgot why you picked the phone in the first place.
I'll be honest, when my phone rings, I'm like, oh. It like rang 3 times in a row. I think I know what one call was, and then there's others, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to you. Day's not over yet, but it's almost like swipe, swipe.
Yep.
You work with a lot of leaders. What is a common thread, common theme that you get from them, the challenges that they're going through?
That depends on what it is that they want to get next.
Okay.
If it's for some, it could be being more empathetic and having those, having those communication skills to really influence and impact other people, to motivate and drive the team to, really get the common goal and get the focus going. For others, it could be time management. It could be setting up boundaries. There's also a difference between male and female. They have different sets of challenges that they have to kind of work with. But there's definitely a gap, right, between where they are and where they want to be. And that what we do is we look for the gap, what it is that needs to change. Is it a skill? Is it a kind of a habit? Is it a new routine? What it is that needs to change so that they can go to the next stage.
I could see the gap being a challenge, like you're trying to bridge the gap and move it forward. When you talk about the leaders, do some actually say they want to be more empathetic to their staff?
No, they don't.
Okay.
It's some of them, they do. They're like,
But maybe they don't verbalize it.
They don't verbalize it this way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time management is a different thing. I don't have enough time, or I don't know how to take my time and use it more effectively. But maybe they're also saying that I want to connect more with the people I work with. Maybe it's that, and so I get that. But I was gratified to hear that they might say they want to be more empathetic, but that's the intent, I guess, right?
Yes, that's the intent. And it shows up more like, the team is not listening, or they're not doing what I ask, or there's always some kind of a challenge with certain people, or I don't know how to stand up and, say it clearly without any misunderstanding or second guessing or coming back to me and asking the same questions over again.
So it's really about we are truly talking about language here.
Yep. Yes, we are. Because it translates, all the thoughts that we have, all the feelings that we have are translated into our communication, into our conversations, right? It expresses how we feel, how we think, how we, what we say to certain people, how we talk to ourselves as well.
Are there things while we're here in this moment with what you just said, are there things that we should not say or things that we should say for a more positive outcome, to manifest more positive things? Any thoughts that come into your mind?
Absolutely, many. So here's the thing. I like to give an analogy that is easy to grasp, and it goes like this. When it comes to having, it's all about vision boards and having positive thoughts and, affirmations and all that, right? We've been surrounded by this for some times, and they're saying that it works, and you can really manifest what you want. Sure. Well, there is a slight challenge when it comes to this. And many people probably experience that. They could say, I've been saying this affirmation to myself so often, and it's just, I'm not feeling it. It's not happening. Nothing is changing, right? And they get frustrated. Well, here's the thing. When you are fearful, you don't just think about that, right? In your head, you're not saying, I think I am fearing this and that, or I think I made a mistake. You feel it in your heart, right? It's the heart is aching, or it can be sad, angry, whatever you want to call it. So think of your head as a cell phone, okay? And you're typing the emails, or you're typing the messages, and you're sending the affirmations out, right? You're sending the affirmation, I want to be better, I want to bring this to my life, I want to have this and that, and you're typing it in your head onto the phone, right? Well, what happens when you don't have a Wi-Fi and when you have a signal? The message cannot be sent, right? It stays in your head, it stays on that phone, because you can't send it out. It's not going anywhere because you don't have the signal. Well, where do we get the signal? How do we get the manifestation, the affirmation that we want? How do we get it out so that we can get, better results for ourselves and have something more? You need to connect the Wi-Fi, the cell phone with the Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi is the heart. When you connect these two together, then you can send the messages and signals out, and they will be received and they will be returned back. So going back to the fear, you're not just typing fear, I'm fearful, I am fearful. You are actually feeling it in your heart. And that same thing applies to the affirmation. You got to feel it in your heart. And I often say, start small. If you can't believe that you're going to have abundance and wealth and happiness and everything in your life, when you feel that you can believe it yet, then don't say it. Lower it down a little bit. Find different words that that are true about yourself. That this is what I am. Let's say I want to be successful, right? But if I'm not going to believe that I'm going to be successful, then the connection is lost and it's not going to be sent out. Say, I'm working towards being successful and I'm grateful for what I have right now. That feels better, right? Because I can believe it. I know this is true. And I can slowly start adding more and more to the affirmation and bringing that feeling into the heart, and it connects and sends it out and comes back.
I love that analogy. And what you said, I know that I'm going to be successful. To me, in my mind, that's like 3 bars in terms of the signal. And I feel, and I try to do this, flip it around and say, I am going to be successful. I'm going to nail it. I'm going to do great. Now it's 5 bars in terms of the signal. That makes sense?
Yes, it must. As long as you believe it.
Yes.
As soon as you can feel it in your heart, absolutely.
So yeah. I have I guess it's a little bit of a personal question. Honest personal question here.
Absolutely. I love honesty.
Me too. Based on your life, your experience, how do you know manifesting what we're talking about? How do you know it works?
Because I experienced it.
Can you tell? Just one example?
Many things. Let's see.
Like, what did you manifest and what materialized?
Okay. So let me go back like 4 years ago. I started my first business. It was after school. I went back to school in mid-30s. I had a child in between while I was at school, because that was just kind of like the accident when you're trying, nothing happens, you decide and you move on, and then boom. So anyway, so after I finished my school, I opened up the business, right? I had that drive, I had the energy. I had my corporate experience from my previous career. I had this new certification and everything that I needed to launch my coaching business, and it collapsed. I had few clients here and there, but it wasn't driving the way I wanted to. It wasn't really going that what I imagined for myself. And it was hardening. Like I was doing so much to get it going, and nothing was I mean, you know, not nothing, but you know, it wasn't in the way that I wanted.
It didn't blow up like you thought
Yeah,
it
it
would.
did not blow up. That's right.
Yeah, I got you.
And after a while, I realized something has to change. Like something is not working for me. Something is preventing me from really, you know, being out there, getting all that stuff. And so, you know, I always tell people when you're looking for answers, you're not going to find them in the material stuff, in any other things around you. You will find them inside within. So that's what I did. I shut everything down. Literally, I closed all of this down and I went inside and I started searching, you know, what it is, Iveta, that you want to do, how you want to help people. What is your passion? And the passion is, I think, the most important one, because if you're passionate about something, you don't have to try. It just goes, right?
Yep.
It's just, it's a natural flow that, you know, this is, I'm passionate. It doesn't drain your energy. It doesn't make you feel tired. You're just constant. Like right now, I can just I can talk and talk. You know, that's my passion. I love talking to other people and encourage people and motivate people and really get all the tools and wisdom and everything that I have to, you know, help them to move and take the next step. And so I did close the door. I went in and I started searching, and it wasn't, you know, it was challenging. You had to face some hard questions, and it's not always easy, because even though you might know it, accepting that fact is another different story, right? You might know this and this, but see, when we don't accept our shortcomings, flaws, and imperfections, then we're letting them run on autopilot, and we're just letting them run our life the way it wants to. Switching it around and taking a manual control over it can give us a great advantage in, you know, working with the flaws and imperfections to find another way, right? It doesn't have the power over you. It can actually, you can use it to create something better, because you have the control and you can say, yes, this is how I'm going to do it, or no, this is how I'm not going to do it. And for me, the Map of Truth, A Journey to Joy workbook, which is right here, that what actually brought me back to the business and opening dynamics of conversation.
Okay, so you felt like things weren't going the way you expected them to.
Yes.
You pressed the pause button on your business.
Yes.
You created that workbook.
Yes.
And that was the jump start to where we are today.
Exactly.
Wow. How did you, I don't want to run out of time. So, and we have that app to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
How did you know the workbook would be so impactful, or you just knew?
I had so much stuff that I wanted to get out of me. I had so much knowledge that I wanted to share with people. And my personal story is actually all written in the book. But what I found was that when you really start to write things down and get your thoughts out of your head onto the paper, it can really help to bring clarity. That is why it's a workbook. I have, in every chapter, you have prompts and journaling spaces, lots and lots of questions to really help you to dig deeper and, you know, ask those questions and reflect on them. You have places to write. I have a map that I'm not just, you know, do this, do that. I take my readers on a journey. We go up the mountains, down the canyons, we sail out to the sea, and then we come back and say hello to the beavers. There is, you know, many, many different ways that I wanted to express what I felt inside and then needed to come out. And first, you know, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can write the whole book. And after 5 chapters, I'm like, yes, I can. And I just kept writing and writing and writing. And suddenly, you know, 300 pages later, there is Map of Truth,
Wow.
A Journey to Joy.
Good for you. Because that was almost like the blueprint for your business. And in short here, I know this manifestation stuff works on the other side, because all the things I used to say to myself, think about, believe, things that weren't very positive, not horrible, but just like, whatever, they all came true, but not in a positive way.
No.
So that's how I know that it works. So now I think about only the positive stuff, where I want, what I want, where I want to go. Tell us about the app, Iveta.
Yes. Okay. I'm super excited about that because I've been working on it for some time. It's going to be launched on May 5th. It's the app is called Better Man from Inside Out. And as the title says, is for men only. And the reason for it is because I believe that men don't get enough support when it comes to knowing how they operate, how they function, and how to open up, right? There is so much pressure when it comes to men to be certain way, right? Like you cannot show emotions, you cannot express how you feel. You have to have that strong, powerful, unbreakable mask on all the time, right? And I think that kind of prevents them from really being who they want to be and also being seen for who they are. And I wanted to break that cultural kind of a theme going, from generations to generations. Don't cry, crying is for girls, all of those sentences that they probably picked up many, many times throughout their life. So it is for men only. We have a mini course. There's lots of downloads, free resources, lots of different things that they can touch on that helps them to really understand how they operate so they can go and create better life for themselves.
That's fantastic. I never heard anything like that. And yeah, you're right. Guys have this preconceived notion that they need to act a certain way. They need to lead a certain way. And same thing for women too. But, it's challenging for guys to show emotion, have that empathy.
Name the feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're out of time. We're like way out of time
already. See, I can just keep going.
Well, that's because you found your purpose and that's where your passion is.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And your energy is fantastic. What's your website?
My website is www.dynamicsofconversation.com. So you can reach me there. I offer a free consultation to leaders who wanted to take it to the next level. And I'm looking forward to launch the app. Again, it's going to be May 5th.
Awesome.
Better Man from Inside Out.
Well, I will personally spread the word about that app because I think it's something that we all need as guys. And how easy, your phone's in your pocket when you have some free time, maybe some of the exercises, and you're available. Anybody has any questions about anything that we talked about and more with that free consult, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Iveta, great meeting you. Great talking with you today. And lots more to talk about. And I look forward next time we get together.
Me too, Steve. Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.